Hello and welcome to Get Your Eggs Back. So, how are you all doing? So, today I am going to be addressing a topic which is very prevalent in this community when you are manifesting. A lot of us go through the blocks, and a lot of the blocks that people go through are ultimately blocks coming from the inability to be your real self. So, are you a person who is suffering from a place of lack of authenticity? Are you a person who is in a state of consciousness where you literally feel like you cannot say no, you cannot be yourself? You truly struggle to be your real self, and you are left in a position where you are trying to squeeze to fit into the society, you are trying to be like others, you're trying to do and live a life that others favor. You're trying to be someone else, you're trying to be a persona that's not even you. I was on a session with one of my VIP clients right now, and this is where the session ended. And I know that because whenever we are working, and as a high vibrational light worker, whenever I'm working with the client, I impact the collective energy. So definitely this will be an energy that is affecting a lot of you. So definitely I thought that why not share this topic. And also one of my clients, she had this same topic and this question that she asked, that what to do when you cannot be your real self. When you are trying to squeeze to fit in, you cannot be your authentic self. You're trying to be your authentic self, but you are unable to be your authentic self because there is a fear, and the fear usually comes from societal control, societal sabotage. You've gone through a series of tests in life. The society has tested you in various ways. The authority has told you this is what you can do, this is what you cannot do. People have told you that this is right, that is wrong. And there have been stories that you've heard where other people who spoke their truth really had to pay for it. Even Jesus Christ was crucified. So these are the kind of thoughts, the fear of persecution, the fear of getting into trouble, the fear of being your real self, the fear of just being the real you, really comes into a state of being questioned. And the moment a person goes through the phase of questioning their worth, questioning whether they are right, wrong, good, bad, they get into a zone where literally the person is wondering that is it right to be their authentic self, is it okay to be their raw real self, because if they are being their raw real self, there's a lot of fear that comes in them. They have the fear of being judged, they have the fear of being hurtful towards someone, but you cannot really hurt someone else. You feel like you are hurting someone else by giving away what is yours, which is your authenticity. So the moment you try to squeeze to fit in and give away what is authentically you, you already are hurting yourself, and you're squeezing to fit in, and you are draining from your own life force energy, and you are actually not contributing much because your intention is of a lot of rage and sacrifice when you are doing that. And this also comes from the programming that society has stored in us, that love is but sacrificial. These are the kind of thoughts, these are the kind of consciousness, these are the kind of thought processes that have put us in a position where we are unable to really speak our own truth. And maybe you had your set of peer pressure conditioning. You've had your set of conditioning from your family, maybe someone or your spouse or your ex-boyfriend. Someone has told you that you cannot be who you really are, and that is where you are struggling. But just dare to be who you really are. The fear that you have inside of you, that fear maybe is that you will be punished deep down. That is why you feel so uncomfortable to take this action. But success truly lies by getting out of your comfort zone. So, the part of you who is feeling uncomfortable, the uncomfortability can be coming from the place where you may be feeling like, oh, I'm not successful enough, I am not good enough. Who am I to have my own thought process? Who am I to have my own ideology? Who am I to really take this path and choose this for myself, and most people are not doing it? How can I be the odd one out? How can I be the unique one? But you know what? The successful people go out of their way and make steps and decisions and choices. That is not what most people are doing, and that's what makes them more successful. If you really want to be successful, you cannot do what other people are doing who are not successful, but you have to do what those few people are doing who are successful. A great quality of a successful person is that they stand out. A great quality of a brand itself is that it stands out. It is about standing out. Your authenticity, your uniqueness is your soul's signature blueprint. And your soul signature blueprint, your authenticity, flows from the essence of who you are, the essence of your being. And your soul signature blueprint is extremely very unique, and there is no two-person who share the same soul signature blueprint. So your authenticity is your beauty. The beauty lies in your authenticity. So wherever you are scared to be your authentic self, wherever you are like wondering that if you are your authentic self, who will say what? Someone might judge, someone might say something. The part of you who is getting affected is because that feeling of someone might say something, someone might punish, goes back into the roots of your childhood. When you did something, you took some decision, and because of that decision, someone punished you, or someone hurt you, or someone put you in a lot of pain. And if because of your childhood decisions someone has hurt you and put you in a lot of pain, you have finally reached that state of consciousness where the idea of punishment, or it is your past life wound, or it is the wound that you connect to when you tap into the collective consciousness, because it is the wound of Jesus Christ that is flowing through all of us. Your wound is not yours to carry. God gave His Son for that, is because the wound that you feel, if you even think of the wound Jesus Christ went through, your wound will neutralize, because somewhere deep down the soul's wound, the wound of the souls, is kind of coming from Christ. But Christ is the Anno Domini stage. Before Christ, there was an era. Before Christ, there was knowledge. Before Christ, there was esoteric knowledge. So the Anno Domini period has experienced the growth of industrialization, experienced the growth of society, experienced the growth of thoughts and understanding, which has gone up to the thesis of being proven that human beings are but polygamous. So theses like this, with the excess increase of patriarchal nature, with excess need of increase in industrialization, with a lot of growth in sectors of prostitution, with a lot of growth in the sectors of pharmaceuticals, with a lot of growth in the sector of industrialization, in the sector of business as well. There was a separation between the before Christ era and the Anno Domini stage and the Anno Domini period has marked and contributed the way of doing things, the way of living life, way of understanding life, way of contributing to life from a lot of fear, from a lot of coming from a place of you are not good enough, you will be punished by the society if you take something, some decision. And that has been amplified with Hitler or the Mughal period or the entire process of independence, dependence, countries having power over another till date, having there being wars being raised in different parts of the countries. We are actually living in a vortex as a collective consciousness, as humanity, in a dimension where there is a lot of fear, there's a lot of wounding, there's a lot of question and answers about what's right, what's not right, what things should be like, what things shouldn't be like, and that as above, so below, as within, so without. This is happening at the macro level, so it is also affecting the micro level, which is your relationship. So, as time has passed, the idea of love has also gone through its own censorship, and the idea of love has also been seen in its own way how it would serve this setup of society of the Anno Domini period. And this period which we are in right now has been a phase where we are literally in a zone where there's a lot of ego being tested, trigger happening, and a lot of competitiveness in the whole spirit realm. There's a lot of push and pull of desire to be a chosen one. There's this desire, in fact, in all of us, and that is where kind of the barricade between the Anno Domini period and the before Christ period comes in. With Christ as sent as one chosen one, sent as someone unique, and then there being a lot of people going against him, there came in the idea, there came in the state of consciousness, there came in the state of understanding that there is a lot of hardship in trying to stand out. So people have been really scared to try to stand out. People have had a lot of fear to be themselves. And as time passed, there was carrot and stick rule method. There was things like people chopping off other people's fingers, slaves being beaten up to death, slaves being tampered, slaves being tortured, and in all those horrific zone of what humanity has seen, all the horrific pain that humanity has endured, all the horrific pain that the authoritarian energies have implanted in the societies. At this point of time, literally, people are in a state of consciousness where there's a lot of wound, there's a lot of pain that is blistering humanity apart when it comes to the consciousness of being themselves, being their authentic self, because no human being is truly their true authentic self in this living current era, the setup of where we are as humanity. And the control has been even deeper with COVID coming in, there being vaccine, anti-vaccine, a group of people who are getting vaccinated, a group of people who are not choosing to be vaccinated. There's a lot of questions about your freedom and your freedom coming into a state of entrapment. So we're not truly free. There was rules before, there are rules now, and the rules now are proven rules, a name of medical proofs, and all these changes, all these things have happened because we are living in a world where we are living in a world of competition. We are carrying the consciousness that we are supposed to compete with one another, we have to compete with one another, we have to be in a war with one another, or we have to snatch from others because there is that underlying overall poverty consciousness that is affecting people in every front in life. So it is the poverty consciousness, it is the feeling, it is the belief that there isn't enough for all, there isn't a lot for everybody. It is this kind of consciousness, it is this thought process that has got humanity to a state collectively where we as a collective carry the fear of being ourselves, and this fear is not just confined to this nowness, but this fear is confined to all that is. This fear is confined to the societal pressure. This fear is confined to what has been. The fear is confined to peer pressure. The fear is confined to what will people say. This fear is confined to what parents have taught you. This fear is confined to what you think that it has to be like right now. Fear is confined to what the rules and restrictions right now are. The fear is confined to how it has to be the new normal. The fear is confined to a lot of stuff altogether, which is where people are finding it difficult to really be their authentic self, really speak their own truth. But it is really time to speak up your own truth. Your truth can be anything. Your truth can be a choice as harsh as not choosing to get vaccinated even when everybody is getting vaccinated. Your choice can be to go ahead and manifest your ex-boyfriend even though most people don't do it. It might not be a logical idea to most people out there to get their ex-boyfriend back, but for you it can be. Your choice can be to be your authentic real self. Maybe for most people, your authentic real self, whatever characteristics you are choosing to have, that might be controlling, but it's about being you. If somebody is having a problem with you being you, despite that person having a problem, it is about being you without feeling bad about what that other person will think. But we are living in that zone where that consciousness is programmed in a way that if you are not taking the other person's feelings into consideration, then you are really being a terrible person. But you can only include the other person's feelings into consideration after you have taken your feelings into consideration and maintained your needful boundaries and loved yourself and respected yourself enough to the extent that you allow yourself to help that person, because that person is ultimately an aspect within, and it is by loving yourself and choosing yourself and meeting your own needs you can truly love that person deep within, not by the physical action you take. It's also a consciousness that if they don't do that, then God will punish. That is also another reason why a person is not finding the vent to be their real self, to be their authentic self. So you think that God will punish, but God is not just the other person, God is also you. We think that God comes to meet us in everybody, but we forget that God is also in us. So God is in you. So God has put a desire in you, God has made you uniquely you. And by honoring the choices that God has for you and loving yourself and meeting your needs and feeling that essence of pleasure, that sense of pleasure, which is the state of being Krishna, which is Krishna, that Gita talks about. Bhagavad Gita talks about this clearly, that it is that essence of being that pleasurable feeling. It is that essence of pleasure that makes you your Krishna state, that essence of Krishna, the sense of being Krishna. The sense of Krishna is the state of absolute self pleasure coming from within in love with God, infused in the state of oneness with Super Soul, where you are not the Super Soul, but you're distinct from the Super Soul, but in the unification with the Super Soul. It is the Super Soul. That is all that is. And it is in that unification with the Super Soul, it is in love with the Super Soul, it is in absolute serendipitous oneness with the Super Soul. We get into a beautiful relationship with the Super Soul infusing in the core corner of each corner of our being the serendipitous mirth, that serendipitous beauty, racing through each corner and surpassing the race of humanity known as human race. So that is the root core cause of separation, that people have a sense of competitiveness and feeling of there's not enough for all. And it is that either you can go from poverty to abundance or abundance to poverty. That's where we are, and that's where we always will be, that's where we are going. But it is to transcend that and to bring the whole consciousness in collective unity so we can truly evolve, because we've been playing this game in circles for a long time, and it's time for a collective global reset. And that's why collective is at right now. And definitely, as my client today told me, that definitely it seems like authenticity shall be the new fad, and I completely agree to that. That authenticity will be a new fad, and I also told her that we shall be the pioneers of it. So, what is your destruction story to be the pioneer of your own authentic truth? Just by being you, just by being your authentic self, you're meeting your core sense of need of being you. And in that core sense of need in being you and infused in the essence of God, you can truly radiate love and choose to maintain the needful boundary that is necessary for you, and thereby choose your authenticity shining from the core essence of being, glittering in the core essence of His truth, fading out all that glitters, making it worthily visible that all that glitters aren't gold. It's very easy to be fake. It's very easy to be like the trend. It's very easy to be just lost and tempted and doing things what most people are doing and getting lost and sloshed in choices that are just too destructive for us. But to be your true authentic self, but to truly flow from the core essence of your being, yes, take guts, yes, take courage. And when you have really had that courage from within to be your core authentic sense of self, when you truly be the true sense of who you are, when you truly choose to love and nurture the essence of truly who you are, initially you might have a lot of fear, but every time you are having fear, when you are trying to be your authentic self, just remind yourself that you cannot love someone by loving them from a place of grudge and the intention of you're sacrificing, so causing ultimately a lot of anger. You don't need to sacrifice, but you can give yourself the love that you desire and feel the mirth of pleasure that you desire, and let go of what does not serve you and continue to choose what does. And then it will not be difficult to say no to another person, because when you are going to feel bad again to say no, you will remember again that you are feeling bad because you are again coming from a place of pleasing that other person. But instead, you need to go in and love yourself and infuse love in the essence of your being. And as you infuse love in the essence of your being, as you fill up the cup of your heart with all the love, with all the joy, by providing the love for self, you can really be there for others. And that is where conscious relationships, conscious communities are rising, conscious manifestations, conscious relationships. The new age is rising. This is where the age of Aquarius is, where we are rising to live our authentic truth, to create realities, to jump parallel dimensions, to make magic, to explore the beyond, to go beyond the consciousness, not just stay stuck in the boring stories of poverty and abundance, just but go beyond on a soul level, but radiate on a soul level. That is where the collective is going at this point of time. And to infuse in that essence with the collective, to infuse in that essence with the magical portal of all that is, you have to get over the fear. And the fear ultimately is from some point of suppression, some point of compromise that you are doing to not allow yourself your desire. So just allow yourself to have all that you desire and you'll infuse back into the consciousness with 5D, and you shall be in absolute alignment, feeling the most amazing, and you wouldn't have problem to say no. It wouldn't be much of a deal for you when you're not doing something to please others. You wouldn't feel bad to really be your authentic self. In fact, you would really realize that every time you're trying to sacrifice being yourself, it is hurting. So every time it hurts when you're not being your authentic self, it's an indication from your being within that this is who you are. So choose to be this person, love being this person, and choose this persona and flow with the state of flow and be this. It's your choice what you wish to be. You can be anything, and what you are being, what you really want to be, that's your true choice. Your authenticity is your true choice of who you truly wish to be. So, whoever you truly wish to be, it's about being that and giving yourself the permission. Wherever it hurts, reminding yourself that it is the feeling of sense of pleasure, it is the feeling of sense of oneness, it is the feeling of everything. It is the feeling of oneness in love, in infusion with God. It is the feeling of breaking the barricades that connects you in oneness with Krishna consciousness. It is that wounding, that it is that pain where you think that you have limitations, but it is beyond the limitations to remind yourself that with God you can have everything. And the moment you remember that in that wound, you will allow yourself to fly, be your authentic self, not really care about what the other person feels, because you will know there's more than enough for all. God is taking care of them. So you will only work on feeling good and choosing God in that place. And when you continue to choose to feel good in that place, you can manifest anything. If you're going through some problem and there is some situation that is affecting you, the situation that is right now, it is how you feel about that situation. Wherever you feel bad about that situation, that is how you don't want the situation to be. So you don't want it to be, so you feel helpless, you feel bad, you feel the pain. It's about loving that pain and reminding it that with God everything is possible. So laugh and be merry because you've already received it. Wherever there is any pain, wherever there is wound, it is about loving those parts and reminding them, because love is the reminder that God is with you, because love and God are one. God is love. Thank you.